Good morning, everyone. My name's Neil Francis. I'm the Interim Managing Director at Scottish Development International, and a very warm welcome to our two-day conference, Scotland is Now, Race to Zero. Due to some conflicting pressures, the First Minister is unable to join us live. However, we have pre-recorded her keynote address that we'll all be listening to in a few minutes. We have over 1,200 delegates registered over the two-day conference, and can I encourage everyone to submit questions and comments throughout. All of these will be picked up by the team and responded to post-event. Our programme over the next 2 days focuses on capital investment and its role in the race to zero. We'll be covering a wide range of topics, including life sciences, sustainable living, as well as showcasing the work of our three major cities. So let's get started with our keynote address from Scotland's First Minister, which will lead directly into the opening panel on Scotland's race to zero and the road to COP26. This will be chaired by Nigel Topping, high-level climate action champion for the United Nations climate talks at COP26. So please enjoy the conference and let's listen to the First Minister.
The UN Secretary-General said last month that COP26 in Glasgow will be a make-it-or-break-it occasion for the planet. That's because the commitments that nations made 6 years ago in Paris to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions are not enough to slow down the current climate crisis. And even if they were, the commitments made in Paris are not currently being met. And so the decisions made at COP26 in Glasgow later this year will affect the prosperity, health and well-being of all of us. COP26 is vital to the future of the planet we all share. For Scotland, hosting such a gathering is a huge honour, but it is also a huge responsibility. We have a responsibility, of course, working with the UK government to help deliver a safe and secure conference. But above all, we have a responsibility to lead by example. As one of the nations which helped to create the industrial age, we want this year to help lead the world into the net zero age. Scotland already has the world's most ambitious framework for emissions reduction. Our actions against our targets have seen us nearly half our emissions since 1990. Indeed, as the UK's Committee on Climate Change recently stated, Scotland has decarbonised more quickly than any G20 economy since 2008. And in 2045, when we are pledged to become a net zero economy, Scotland's contribution to climate change will end altogether. We also have a very clear ambition that our transition will be a just one. Like many countries, Scotland was scarred by deindustrialisation in the 1970s and 1980s. As someone who grew up in the west of Scotland at that time, I vividly remember the damage done to lives and communities. And so we are determined to ensure that decarbonisation is different, that its benefits are fairly shared, and that we identify and mitigate its harmful consequences. To help achieve this ambition of a just transition to net zero, Scotland is working with partners, not just within our own borders, but also right across the world. We are an enthusiastic partner in the Under 2 coalition of cities and regions. In fact, we are the European co-chair of that coalition this year. And we're keen to encourage even deeper levels of cooperation. That's why Scotland is launching a new Net Zero Leaders Group with Bloomberg Philanthropies. We hope that it will strengthen state and regional leadership on climate ambition in advance of COP26. We're also increasingly reaching out to the investment and business community. They have an essential part to play in any successful transition to net zero. Our climate change plan makes clear that we will need more investment in net zero infrastructure, from offshore wind to heat networks. We're also investing in nature-based solutions like woodland creation and peatland restoration that can reduce emissions, restore our environment and create jobs. Scotland, of course, currently does very well in attracting inward investment. We also perform relatively strongly at attracting capital investment in the low carbon or net zero sector. And this year we have launched a new national investment bank. Its key mission is to help the transition to a net zero economy. But the scale of our net zero ambitions means that we need new and additional sources of investment. That's why later this month we'll launch a new global capital investment plan. It covers 3 broad areas: commercial property, infrastructure, and direct investment into businesses. And it sets out how we will attract the investment we need to become a successful net zero economy. The plan is informed by detailed analysis. For example, we've identified sectors where Scotland might be particularly attractive to investors, such as renewable technology, life sciences, digital and IT. We've also assessed how these sectors match with global demand for investment. And using that analysis, we're now working to build links with potential partners elsewhere in the UK, across Europe and around the world. This 2-day event is part of that broader programme of relationship building. We hope that it will help to inform and inspire you by highlighting the scale of Scotland's net zero ambitions. And in the longer term, we hope that by cooperating more closely with the financial and business community, we can secure sustainable returns for investors while achieving economic, environmental and social benefits for our country. The final point I want to make is that the task that all of us face this year of trying to set the world on a more sustainable course is a difficult one, and it is an urgent one, but it is not an impossible one. All of us have seen over the past year that when it is necessary, governments and people can achieve quite extraordinary things. In the past 12 months, we've seen people pull together to protect each other in ways that would normally have seemed unimaginable. Entire testing infrastructures have been put together from scratch. The world has developed new vaccines from a standing start. The urgency we showed in the face of a virus now needs to be shown in the face of an even greater threat. For all the convulsions of last year, climate change remains the greatest challenge facing this planet, and COP26 is our best, perhaps our only chance to address it. Scotland, as a proud host and as a responsible global citizen, will do everything we can to play our full part. We want to work with as many of you as possible as we do that. So thank you for taking part in this event, and I hope that the next 2 days provide you with new contacts, good ideas and fresh inspiration as all of us work together towards COP26.